In this video, I will give you the details on my contract, just a little update on what's going on with me, and I'm also going to comment on this whole situation about grad nurses sending in fake, credentials and whatnot to be able to travel. But more on that later. If any of that interests you, please stay tuned. Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Kaylana. If you are new here, on this channel I will give advice and tips for new grads as well as nurses who are interested in becoming a CRNA. I will also start to document my experience as an SRNA later on this year and definitely starting January of 2022. If you are returning, then welcome back. I just wanted to do a little update because I know it's been a little while since I've made a video, and that's because I took a travel assignment. I think I had mentioned that in one of my other videos, but I actually decided to do it. So because of the pandemic, they're paying nurses crazy amounts. Not necessarily that we don't deserve it, but amounts that aren't typically seen outside of the COVID era. So as you may already know, and maybe if you don't, travel nursing pays more than being a staff nurse. Usually, I would say on average, maybe 3 times as much. So typically it's attractive because you can get assignments with varying lengths, anywhere from 4 weeks to 13 weeks. There probably are some longer contracts, but I haven't seen them lately. And then one of the whole tax rules of being a travel nurse is that you don't stay in the same place longer than a year. I believe it's a year. But yeah, so I decided to take a travel assignment and I'm currently in Miami. So I am in my same state just because this is my second assignment and I just kind of wanted to be closer to home. I'm traveling within my state. It's not something that was required, but it was the highest paying in my state, and I just felt more comfortable doing that. Also, I decided to take this contract because it's in the same city as the school that I'm going to be going to in January. So I found this contract by joining different Facebook groups for travel nurses. So if you're looking into travel nursing and you don't know how to get started, after watching this video, go ahead and take a look in the description because I'm going to post some links to some of the discussion groups that I belong to on Facebook, and that's how I found this particular job. When you go onto these groups, just make sure that you're doing your research. Don't send all of your private information to just any old body. I mean, you have to use kind of some common sense. And if you all are interested in details on how to kind of vet someone, then let me know in the comments and I can make that make another video while I'm on this current assignment. So my particular contract is for $7,100 a week. $7,100 is for 48 hours, so I have to work 4 days a week, and that's written in my contract, but it is guaranteed. So if for some reason the hospital had a low census or they just didn't want me for that day, I would still get at least 48 hours on each paycheck. Now they can cancel me. That is the downside to being a travel nurse, is that although it's a contract, it's not 100% guaranteed. So these are some of the things that you need to think about when signing a contract as a new travel nurse. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to stay in state for my first official contract. So on this particular travel assignment, like I said, is $7,100 a week. Part of that is taxable and some of it's not. For a travel assignment, you do get stipends for meals, incidentals, and then housing. Those are not taxed as long as you basically are paying for 2 different residences. Some people, and that's a whole different video, want to work in their same city and take these travel contracts, and you can. That's a local travel contract, but usually stipends are not included, and if they are, if you don't report them, you have to pay taxes on them. If you don't pay taxes on them but you're not actually paying 2 different expenses, like 2 different living places, like for example, I have a home about 4 hours from here, and then I'm also renting a room. So they give me a set amount for a housing stipend, and I can spend as much as I want, even more than the stipend, but I can also spend less and then save the rest. but you do have to have duplicate expenses to not have to pay taxes. So that's something that travel nurses look for when negotiating their contracts. As far as the per diem or food and whatnot, you don't have to submit receipts for that. At least I've never heard of anyone doing that kind of thing, but that's not taxable either. And then they have special, you have a set rate for how much you work up to 40 hours, and then you have a different rate for overtime, like most people do. But I had mentioned that my contract is for 48 hours, but I'm actually working 60. So if I look tired, then that's why, and that's also another reason why I haven't been making as many videos lately. So when I share the amount that I'm getting for this contract, by no means am I trying to do it like, bragging or anything like that. I am very fortunate, and depending on what you believe in, I do believe that I am blessed to be in this situation, especially since when I did this the first time in February, I was only able to have contracts like this for about 6 weeks, which was definitely a blessing in and of itself. But I didn't think that we would be back in a situation where these kind of contracts were available. But it definitely helps me get ready for school, so I'm trying to take advantage of it for as long as possible. And I plan to work until maybe like the beginning of December, maybe mid-December. I definitely want to be free for the holidays. And that is another thing that is great about travel nursing, is that you can, while you can't necessarily set up your days in the week that you work, because the hospital just tells me when they need me, I can kind of schedule my contracts based on when I want to be free during the year. So that's just a quick little synopsis of my travel situation. If you all want something more in greater detail, or if you want help with how to find housing, what you're looking for specifically in a contract, what's a good rate versus what's not, then leave a comment below and I can put together something more detailed than what this video is. But I do want to say something. With the large sums of money that travel nurses are being paid now, comes these little evils. So the big thing right now is the nursing students who just graduated, who don't have nursing experience, who want to take these contracts. Now, normally a company will require 2 years of experience in your said specialty. They also require certifications based on your specialty. So for example, I am ICU, so I am required to have, let's say just ACLS. I mean, I have other ones, but you have to have ACLS to work in the ICU. If you work with children, you have to have PALS. I've heard from recruiters that new grads are submitting false documentation. They are submitting numbers for fake references to say that they have the experience that they don't, and that is very concerning. And it's even more concerning that it's not concerning to the grad student. I know that the amount of money that you can command out there is so enticing, but it's not worth risking someone else's life or your license or your freedom. Consider this. If any of you are considering going out and getting a travel nurse assignment before you will have the experience, you do not get training when you're on a travel assignment typically. When I started this assignment, I got maybe 6 hours, and that was enough time for them to do paperwork with me and show me around the hospital, because I'll be floating to 3 different floors, and just basically where to find things and who to talk to if I need something, and just basically that kind of orientation. They didn't tell me how to run a CRT machine, and they didn't tell me how, what I'm supposed to do if a patient codes, which is the ACLS part. There was a TikTok that I watched from a recruiter who said that someone sent in a fake ACLS card. Let me tell you why that's concerning. Because if you are an ICU level nurse, and let's say you went to a med-surg floor or a PCU floor and one of the patients coded, you are expected to run that code as an ACLS provider with medications and operating the defibrillator machine on your own according to guidelines. But if you don't know how to do that, then you can't direct someone else to do that. And someone's life is literally in your hands. So for obvious reasons, submitting fake documentation is not a good idea. On top of the fact, this recruiter was also saying that he was reporting new nurses who did this to the Board of Nursing in their state. And I don't blame him. I think that is definitely something that should be reported, because if you are willing to submit false documentation and lie about your experience, what won't you lie and cover up? I mean, that's very untrustworthy. And where does it end? Comment below what you think about grad nurses starting in the travel nurse industry without having the experience. And there's got to be some of you who think that it's okay, because I know that they're out there. Let us know. Do you think that nurses should have 6 months, a year, 2 years? Do you think it depends on the specialty? Do you think that the recruiter is going overboard by reporting these nurses? Let me know in the comments below. That's all I have to say in this video. I just wanted to make a quick video to let you all know that I'm still out here and I see your comments and I'm thankful for every one of them. So if you like this video, please consider subscribing, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single video. And as usual, if you have any questions, then I am happy to help, because I consider myself your friendly nurse mentor. And I guess I'll see you all in the next one.